You know, one thing that kind of bugs me in the world of critique and media discussion these days is how the narrative of a piece of entertainment's quality is a pure binary. Films, games, music and whatnot are either amazing, a revolution, the next big thing, or are utter trash at best and a slight against the very nature of their respective genre/franchises at worst. It's all a bit much really. What happened to things just being okay? And more importantly to this currently untitled series, what about the nuggets of good in those things everyone writes off as awful? There's a certain culture of negativity and a drive to always be the most outrageously angered about a piece of media's quality that seems to exist in criticism now, especially here on YouTube. You could point at some folk and say it's their fault, but really it was always the way. The angry review existed long before videos and video makers made them a cottage industry all of their own. I've not got much against them. If it works for them, cool. Hope it keeps working. It ain't my thing though. However, I do quite like exploring the odd bad game. I like to see what they're at least attempting to offer. I've always liked taking the time to watch bad films too. I feel that to understand how right a piece of media can get the art form, it's worth seeing and dissecting what doesn't work. But even then, I make sure to look out for the stuff those bad films and games and the like do right. I feel very few games are actually entirely bad, and I'm talking in a way where every single aspect of the game fails to function in any way at all. They can be buggy, control poorly, or have terrible performance, but they must get some things right. Right? And so that is what I plan to attempt to do with this new series. I still don't have a name for it. Future Ant, if you settle on a name, put it on the screen now. Brilliant, nailed it. So, with the premise set and the title looking fantastic, seriously, great job Future Ant. Let's try and find the good in, oh lord. Ride to Hell, Retribution for the Xbox 360. Oh no. Okay, this isn't going to be easy. Ride to Hell had an incredibly difficult development according to all reports. Hell, the game was allegedly cancelled at one point, likely around its originally planned 2009 release. It was developed by Eutechnics, best known for, Pimp My Ride, I guess? The game eventually released in June 2013 to universally awful reviews. Just awful. It was originally meant to be an open world Grand Theft Auto-like with a range of vehicles to drive and a long story featuring motion captured performances. That's not what we got in the end. What we got was a linear, occasionally exploratory action game with some decidedly not mo-capped cutscenes. It's often regarded as one of the worst games of the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation, and I own a copy. It was like £4, new, sealed, a few months after release. The game opens with this crazy sequence of action set pieces that immediately feel awful. But this is a pretty cool way to open the game. It rushes you through the various gameplay styles the game offers, giving you your basic tutorials and gets out of the way within a few minutes. It's a pretty efficient way of introducing you to a game and its mechanics. It just about works and would probably be seen as pretty cool in a game like Grand Theft Auto or Uncharted. Sure, it also highlights how clunky the controls are and features some nice graphical errors. Also, it kind of cuts the music off suddenly when it ends, when maybe syncing it to the music would have worked better. But it's a start. Graphically, yeah, it's a bit grim. If this was a very early Xbox 360 game, you'd probably either forgive it a little or assume it was a PS2 port. I don't dislike the art style itself, it's chunky, characters look meaty and tough, there's a bit of cartoonish exaggeration going on with the proportions. It has a look going for it, that's for sure. Remember, I'm talking about the general art style, not the actual graphical quality. I dig the setting, it's all deserts, dirt covered roads and all feels grungy and stuff. Just right for this sort of biker themed game really. Sometimes when you're driving down the road, the rock formations look pretty neat as they go by, although they sure do hug the roads, meaning the game doesn't have to worry about drawing objects too far away. I also quite like how this area looks in the nighttime sequences too. Hand-to-hand combat has a bit of weight to it, although it's woefully outdated. Again, if this was a port of a PS2 game, you'd probably cut it some slack. It's not good combat, but the animations are solid and the hits have a nice chunky impact sound to them. although the audio kinda dips out a little during the combo attack bits, and man, these camera cuts that go along with those moves don't work very well. Still, it feels like you're hitting things, and I'm really trying my best here. I quite like the menus with the magazine pages flipping and whatnot. It looks alright, probably the most stable and solid aspect of the game. Well done game interface artists Keith and Mark, who I assume did this. There's a song in the game you'll hear a lot, which is a passable piece of American biker rock. It's called Pressure and Time by a band called Rival Sons, who were apparently recent Grammy Award nominees, so well done to them. You'll hear the song a lot in this game, as it seems to be the only licensed song they had acquired. Bit of a shame, as music is a kind of a key part of selling that biker theme. Still, it's there and it's perfectly suited to the game. Okay, what else can I scrape from this? There's a genuine attempt to tell a story. Cutscenes aren't just a means for giving you your next objective, and actually are attempting to build characters and set up the world the game is set in. I'm not sure it does it well. According to Wikipedia, the game is set in 1969. I kinda just figured it was set in a real poor part of the US that was behind the times. Still, they are functional story scenes despite the janky animations and lip syncing. And with that, I think I've ran out of nice things to say. You can tell there was some ambition with this game, the little hints of an open world that never was, the mixture of gameplay styles, the setting isn't the most common around. It's clear there was an extremely troubled development that led to this game turning out the way it did. It has moments where it could almost veer into so bad it's good territory, like within the first hour you've bedded 2 different women whilst fully clothed after doing almost nothing. Sure, it's pretty offensive, but you can't help but laugh at this fully clothed bumping of uglies. Also, this "no" Jake screams when Mikey dies is amazingly pitiful.
Toledo Conway?
I didn't grab a whole ton of footage for this game, and that's because of a lovely bug I encountered. During this warehouse stage, you exit a lift and pick up a rifle to help you take on the waves of enemies that are tougher than the usual lot you've encountered so far. But I failed and died, and the rifle didn't respawn, leaving me with a weak ass pistol and a rapidly depleting patience for this game's gun combat. I gave up and turned off the Xbox. Shortly after recording, I got myself an Xbox One X. Sadly, Ride to Hell isn't backwards compatible with the Xbox One, so I set up the 360 again and it no longer turns on. Now, I could assume I damaged it when I removed it from the TV stand, but I kind of think it's just plain refusing to work because I made it play Ride to Hell Retribution. I have my suspicions at least. RIP Ant's 7th, maybe 8th Xbox 360. You were the one that lasted the longest. So yeah, that was my attempt at saying nice things about Ride to Hell Retribution. It's not a good game at all, but there's a handful of elements that I think are good. Alright, or passable, for an early PS2 game, which this is not. Thank you for watching this new thing, which according to a Twitter poll may be called Finding the Good in ... If you like this idea, suggest other games I could look at. I think I'll be aiming for the ones that are most often trashed on YouTube first, if I own them. If you would like to hear me talk about actual good games, check out my Mellow Gaming Recommends series. It's alright, and a bunch of cool folks support me on Patreon whenever a new episode is made. Also, like and subscribe, because YouTube send the scary men over if I don't say that. Bye!